3, 2, 1, blast off, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of the MSP Chat Podcast, your weekly visit with one of two talking heads this week, talking with you about the services, strategies, and success tips you need to make it big in managed services. My name is Erick Simpson. I am the Chief Strategist at Channel Master, the organization responsible for this podcast, and I'm flying solo this week as your other co-host, Rich Freeman, our Chief Analyst at Channel Master, is out. So let's dive in to this week's Story of the Week. The next batch of the 2025 MSP 501 rankings has just been released. And if you're not familiar, the MSP 501, hosted by Channel Futures, is the longest running and most respected list in the managed services industry. It's not just a popularity contest, far from it. It is a data-driven evaluation that considers financial performance, recurring revenue mix, innovation, operational maturity, and overall business health. In short, it separates the signal from the noise for MSPs. So why does this matter? Whether you're on the list or not, the MSP 501 offers a benchmark for excellence. It sets the tone for where the industry is headed and what success looks like in today's highly competitive. Here's a few reasons why we think this matters to every MSP and vendor listening. First, credibility. Being listed in the MSP 501 gives you instant recognition in the eyes of clients, peers, vendors, and even potential M&A suitors. It says we run a high-performing, future-focused business. Second, partner attraction. Top vendors actively seek out MSP 501 ranked firms for co-selling and enablement programs. It's a fast track to strategic channel opportunities and exclusive benefits. Third, internal momentum. Recognition like this boosts employee morale and makes recruiting easier. Who doesn't want to work for a top 1% firm? Now, one of the major trends we're seeing in this year's findings is a clear adoption of AI tools, automation platforms, and security-first strategies. These MSPs are scaling up recurring revenue, shifting towards compliance-driven services, and aligning their offers more closely with industry demands. Bottom line, even mid-tier MSPs on this list are punching above their weight class in terms of innovation and growth. This isn't just a ranking, it's a roadmap for where the market is going. So if you're an MSP looking to stand out, grow your margins, elevate your brand, take a serious look at the MSP 501. And if you made the list this year, congratulations. You've earned it. For everyone else, use this as an inspiration because the MSP 501 isn't just a list, it's a leadership signal for the entire channel. Now, let's pivot to my tip of the week. It's time to refresh your LinkedIn profiles. Now, if you're like me, an engineer, not really a people person, but I adapt when I have to. The last thing that is typically on our to-do list is to update our LinkedIn profiles. It's kind of like, updating the website. It's usually the last thing on the list because there's so many other things that we're doing. We're spinning a lot of plates. We're busy serving clients. We're busy trying to grow our businesses. But at the end of the day, it takes just a few minutes to update your LinkedIn profiles for your company and for yourself. So what's the value of this? Well, think about it. LinkedIn is probably the most active, call it a Rolodex of professionals that everyone kind of is steering towards in finding business opportunities, in making connections, and growing their professional network. So when you're doing marketing, what do your prospects look at when they get your email or when they meet you or when they hear about you? They're going to look at your website, and the more savvy buyers are looking at your LinkedIn profile and your company LinkedIn page as well. So think about how quick and easy it is to update your company LinkedIn page with your offerings, with your messaging, focusing on security first, AI driven messaging, how you can help clients improve their operating efficiencies, guard against security threats, and leverage the promise of AI. These are the top messages that are resonating today with SMB customers. In fact, a recent statistic that I read showed that 87% of SMB business owners are looking to leverage AI. But we have to do that responsibly, and we have to do it, with governance top of mind. So optimizing your company LinkedIn profile resonates with clients. So make sure that it aligns with your company website as well. We don't want a mismatch between what the messaging is on your company website and your LinkedIn company website. I'm talking about your website that's on the internet versus in the LinkedIn platform. Same goes for your personal LinkedIn profile. Make certain that you've got an updated headshot, you've got a catchy title, and you're describing the benefits, the business benefits that you deliver to your clients in both your company LinkedIn page and your website, hopefully, as well as your LinkedIn profile and what your role is. And try to standardize all of your staff's LinkedIn company profiles as well. Their LinkedIn profile should align with consistent messaging and branding. So distributing your company logo, standardizing on the background, on how you take your headshots. This all leads to interest and trust being built. So if you're talking to a prospect, if you're setting an appointment with them, they quickly look at your website, they look you up on LinkedIn, they look at your staff on LinkedIn, your company webpage. All of that tells a cohesive message that helps drive their desire to meet with you and take the next step. So I suggest you do this every 6 months or so. Just update your LinkedIn profile and ask for recommendations. Ooh, almost forgot that one. Ask your clients for recommendations and make sure that you're also reciprocating by giving them recommendations as well. In fact, a great strategy is to offer a recommendation first and then ask the client or colleague or vendor that you're working with to reciprocate by creating a recommendation for you as well. All right. Now it's time for our spotlight interview. And this is an interview I conducted with Ingram Micro's EVP and Global Group President for North America, Bill Brandel, at their recent Ingram Micro Trust X Alliance Unplugged 2025 event in Philadelphia. This event is a 2-day gathering that brings together MSPs, channel pros, and tech vendors. And it's built this year around the central theme of connection. So I asked Bill during the event to share his thoughts and the message being shared with their partners, all centered around the idea of connection and how Ingram Micro is helping their partners succeed in today's challenging economic times. The interview is coming your way in just a few moments after this break. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. Bill Brandel, Ingram Micro EVP and Global Group President, North America. Thank you so much for sitting down with me.
Hey, you got it. Thank you for having me. Are you kidding me?
That's awesome. Thanks for inviting me to Unplugged this year. We're sitting here in the middle of the event. Thanks. So again, a lot of exciting things happening at Ingram. I sat through some of your presentations this morning. I got a few questions I'd like to ask you.
I'd love it. Shoot.
Awesome. So what's your overarching message for partners at this Unplugged 2025 event?
Yeah, I think the theme hits it right on the head. It's all about connections. And, you heard us talk a little bit about that this morning, right? The power of connections. And I think, I think we take for granted the fact that, we rely so much on connections.
Yeah.
And in order to get our businesses where they need to be. So I think the overarching theme of today's and this year's focus for Ingram is all around bringing the right connections to bear to help partners grow.
Yeah, that resonated with me, especially now in, the era of AI, right?
Oh, yeah.
So, and I know that, I heard from the stage that, hey, this is about us leveraging AI, but strengthening these connections between ourselves and our partners. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
100%. So when I look, it gets me excited to think about what the future is going to look like with AI, mainly because we've been, in the AI space since the beginning. And I think with Xvantage coming in and Sanjeev and his team really focusing on AI as the foundation of Xvantage, really that foundational engine that drives everything we're going to do with our partners, right? Having AI, machine learning, it's changing the way we're able to show up as a company and the way we're able to provide support for our partners. So when I think about today and the message today, the connections around being able to deliver value for our partners to their end customers, both locally, nationally, and potentially internationally, is all around the connections that they're going to make with other partners that may have competencies or may have skills that could either augment or take the place of areas where they're not focused, or maybe they haven't done that in the past. So I think this event is all about connecting the right partners, the right people, in order to start thinking about how to transform business and leveraging AI as a means to be able to show up differently. We gave the example of IDA for our own uses, right? Our intelligent data assist. Really, this assistant works with AI and machine learning to comb through our quotes and our opportunities that we're working on with partners. It is able to analyze those quotes and understand when there is a purchase decision being made. We're able to then organize and prioritize that opportunity and get it back in front of a partner with enough time to be able to have a really good conversation, and not just about that initial opportunity, but we're also layering in insights and recommendations so they can not only capture what they were already working on, but hopefully expand that opportunity and grow. And what we're seeing is we are doubling our close percentage as a result of this AI-led opportunity and this AI-led function within Xvantage. So it's really exciting.
Yeah, the phrase I heard from the stage was going to minutes from months.
100%.
Getting these transactions done.
Well, the minutes to months too, just so I can be clear, that was my reference to Integration Hub.
Right. That's where I'm going next.
Yeah.
The integration. Yeah. You had 4 key things that you shared.
Phenomenal.
Regarding the integration sub. So 4 key things that connect partners through Xvantage. The integrations hub, financial services, technical expertise, and services. Let's unpack each one of those.
You were listening.
Yeah.
You were listening. I like that.
Yeah. Walk us through integrations hub and the new improvements.
Sure. So look, connections have been going on for years, right? API connectivity has been available. There's been other types of EDI. There's other ways to connect with companies, right? To do business. I think what Integrations Hub does is it really takes that process of connecting and simplifies it. And I would say, without breaking any trademarks or anything, but it would resemble something like an app store where, if you're working with a CRM or a CPQ or an ERP system today within your environment, you're able to connect to Xvantage and have that information be fed directly into the tools that your teams use. And it's as simple as downloading the application, configuring, and going. So what used to take months of configuration of APIs is done, and it's really simple. And so if you think about that, if all of the information that you use every day is being fed directly into the tools that you use to support your customers, it's going to make things easier and simpler. And then everything that we do going forward as we work with vendor partners and we start harmonizing their systems and how they approach the business, it's all going to flow down through directly to the partner as we make the changes real time, just like any other modern day platform that you see today. So that gets me excited because it's going to transform the way we interact, the way we show up, the way our partners are able to show up. And I think that's where you're going to see us really focus our energy to get partners aware of that connection and that integrations hub.
Right. Well, as a former MSP, I can say anything that can save us time, make it more efficient, avoid human mistakes, right, is going to be of value to Ingram partners.
I agree.
So, Rusty, when he was on stage, talked about, and I got this ability and opportunity to work with partners. And what I took away from it was like in a very bespoke fashion, like tell us what you need and we will help work it out so that you can, if you're concerned about, we talked about tariffs and inventory and things like that. Can you share some of that?
100%.
And how you're helping partners now?
100%. I think financing, it was almost always taboo. I've been doing this a long time, and I think that partners have always viewed it as, hey, look, I have my, I am a very successful business. I have my cash flow. I have my capital that I'm investing, and I'm making those decisions on where I need to make those investments. And I think that's fantastic. But in today's ever-changing landscape, it's more important today to be able to look at all the options. And financing was, in the past, was always just give me some terms, right? When you think about taking down opportunities today, when you look at multi-year deals, when you look at the complexity of some of these transactions that we're doing, you really have to think about what is the best way to take that down? What is the best use of your working capital as a company? So our focus is let us help you put your capital to work to maximize your performance. And then where needed, let's leverage other financial vehicles to help bring opportunities to life. And so where in the past we would work on deals and we would secure an opportunity and then we would think about the finance. How are we going to finance it? Well, I think today what Rusty's message is really, let's have that conversation on the front end of an opportunity. Let's design the right approach to take with your client. Maybe let's give you a couple of different options. And then we can take a look at how it impacts your bottom line, how it helps your customer. And then let's design that together so that we're approaching this thing and giving you your best chance to win. And that's really the call to action and the ask of our partners.
Yeah, I would tell MSPs, give your customer every opportunity to purchase from you the way they want to purchase. Always include a financing option. So in case they say, oh, that makes a little bit more sense to me, right? It just, serving your customers in the way they makes them want to move forward easier with you, right?
100%. And more and more of our customers, right, they're people and they have subscription services. They have cell phones. They're paying a monthly fee. So they become very accustomed to this. And so why not in business look at other ways of securing financing to be able to provide a different way of payment terms or a different way to support an opportunity?
And I think that just elevates the perception of the MSP in a more strategic manner to their customer. You're trying to help me grow my business and give me options so that I can put my capital to work in other areas if I, don't want to just cut a big check.
I agree.
Yeah.
I think you're spot on.
So, I've had those conversations when I had my MSP practice as well, and we used all those tools. So another thing that I always, encourage MSPs to do, sometimes they don't think about it, but when they're putting together, proposals and architecting solutions and things like that, they're forgetting that they can reach out to Ingram for that assistance. And, from the stage we heard today, the technical expertise was kind of the third item that we were covering during the keynote today. So, and MSP's asking, well, hey, how should I say, are you reaching out to Ingram? They've got a team of people that are ready to help you. They are working for your success. So walk us through how we can get that message out to more partners. Because
I could just hire you. I wish I could just hire you and send you out on the road to go do that, because that is exactly what has to happen. Look, we spend a lot of time. We listen to our partners and we take their feedback very seriously. And they always say, look, technical resources are very hard to come by, and technical competencies are tough to keep, right? We're constantly losing people. They're always moving around. It's tough to keep people on staff. And so then you hit an opportunity where you land a deal that requires a competency that maybe you lost. Maybe somebody left your company. Maybe you never had it. Maybe it's something that you have, but you haven't used it in a while. So this is where you really benefit from partnering with Ingram to leverage our technical resources to be able to help augment what you're doing. So we can either strengthen what you already have, we can provide a gap fill until you go and get whatever necessary skills or competencies you need, or we can just do it on behalf of you as a partner and be your partner in that opportunity So it's really whatever flavor you want. We also have this whole network of Trust X partners that we use as an extension of our services arm, our technical arm. And they can give scale across the country. They can give scale in any area that we do business. So we have options. It's really about, goes back to that original conversation. Tell us what you're looking to do and let us help you design something that fits and works for you and your business. Be it finance, be it technical, be it Xvantage, anything that we are doing is designed to help our partners. And the only way it works is if they tell us what they need and we can get them access to the things that are going to be most important to them.
Yeah, and my experience, Bill, working with, a specialist at Ingram helps identify things that we didn't even think of, or other opportunities or other options to design something that may, so that we don't go back and go, oh, we scoped it incorrectly the first time, right? Because I've had that bad experience with clients. So I appreciate that ability for partners to engage with these experts at Ingram.
Thank you.
And as I shared with you, before we started shooting, I've been an Ingram partner since 1997 when we launched our IT practice, throughout until we sold our MSP at the end of 2007. And then we're working with Ingram folks ever since. So it's, you're really
glad to know you started when I did. I know, that's
right?
That is a fun fact that I did not know.
I think I'm aging us, but that's okay.
Yeah, that's so you can kind of tell now. There's no hiding it.
I know, right? So the fourth thing that you shared from the stage was services.
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about that.
Yeah. So think about what our MSPs and our VARs are up against, right? Being able to be everything to everyone. And that's a very expensive proposition, right? It's very difficult to have all of the services that everyone needs and be able to deliver it when they need it, okay? So really our goal has always been to be able to white label, to package services that we can white label and have our partners leverage so to give themselves scale. We'll make the investments up front so they don't have to. And that's really what the benefit of us getting into the services game. Look, at the end of the day, I want to make sure you're successful with your end customer, because that's how we win together. And I only win when you win. So if I'm building services that can benefit you as you approach your end customer and have you show up in a way that you want to show up, I think then I'm doing my job. You win more deals, you bring them to me, and we work together to make sure you grow, and I'll continue to build services as needed to help support the industry.
So let's bring it full circle.
Sure.
So what's your call to action for partners today?
My call to action, I kind of said it today, and I'll reiterate what I think is important. The connections that got you here might not be the connections you need to move forward. We're always changing and evolving as a company. And I would say that most times that we miss an opportunity, it's because someone didn't bring it to us. So if I had one call to action, is if you're struggling with any aspect of your business, come to Ingram Micro. Have a conversation with our team. We have a group of amazing sellers and executives and people who can help any company design a formula for success if they partner with us and leverage the connections that we can all share.
Bill Brandel, thanks so much for taking a few minutes to speak with me today. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Have a great one.
All right. And welcome back to part 3 of this edition of the MSP Chat Podcast. And just a couple of thoughts about the interview between myself and Bill Brandel. What really resonated with me was the idea that we have to prioritize human connection, especially because we are being so distracted with AI and digital communications and maybe a little bit less personal Zoom or virtual or team meetings and things like that. So in the midst of all that, we can't forget the value of being diligent about building and maintaining personal human connection, because at the end of the day, that's how we win against Skynet. All right. That leaves us with time for just one last thing. And that last thing, everybody, is sewer gators are real. Florida city workers wrangled a 5-foot alligator in a storm drain pipe. Yeah, you heard that right. In Oviedo, Florida, a public works team sent a robot down into the sewer because they were checking out a bunch of potholes that were in the street, apparently. And boom, there it was. It's on video. Search for it. You'll find the video. A full-grown gator living the underground sewer gator dream. So if you're an MSP and you're in Florida and you're driving to a client location and you notice some potholes in the road, look out and be ready to call animal control just in case there's a giant prehistoric reptile lurking around somewhere. Folks, that's all the time we've got for you on this episode of the show. I want to thank you so much for joining us. As always, I'll remind you that we're both a video and an audio podcast, which means that if you're watching this on YouTube, you can also listen to us and subscribe at any of the audio podcast catchers. We're there. Just look for the MSP Chat Podcast. If you're listening to the audio, check us out on YouTube and subscribe, comment, click the bell so you know when a new episode goes up every single Friday. Wherever you find us, we look forward to your comments and participating with you online. Now, this show is produced by the great Russ Johns. It's edited by the great Riley Simpson. They are more than willing and able to stand up a podcast for you. And podcasting is just one small sliver of the things we deliver to our clients at Channel Mastered. So to find out more, just run over to channelmastered.com. We've got a sister company where we work with MSPs directly, helping grow their businesses. You can learn more about that at mspmastered.com. Thanks again for joining us. We'll see you in another week. Until then, always remember, you can't spell channel without MSP.